You know, we all want to take our RVs into the most beautiful places in North America, and we can do that because of the fact that we're bringing so many of our systems with us. But in today's power-hungry age, we need to invest a little bit more in our power systems in order to do that. Now, this system by GoPower is brand new. This is their PowerTrak system. And this comes as a kit, okay, not including the battery, but the solar, the inverter, everything that's here, we're going to talk about in a second. And the whole idea of this is it's an easy to install, everything included kit that's going to give you 3 kilowatts of AC power in your RV. It's going to charge at up to 125 amps. So that is going to work really, really well with a lithium battery pack. It's got a great solar system. Everything's included, the wiring, the hardware, everything that you're going to need to run this. And on top of it, it comes with its own RVC networking, okay? And is compatible with RVs that have RVC. Before we get into our PowerTrak 400 system, which includes the solar and the inverter, I want to talk about the foundation of your power system, and that is going to be your battery pack. All of this stuff is fantastic, but if you don't have the foundation of the system, you don't have the tank for your power, as it were, then you're not going to go anywhere or do anything. What we have here is a 300 amp hour sun cycle battery from GoPower, and this is lithium, and it is RVC compatible, so it will network in with the rest of this equipment. And so this is going to give you a tremendous amount of time off the grid, and with the solar system that we have here that's fully expandable, you're going to be able to stay off grid for an awfully long time. Of course, depending on how much load you're putting on it, and there's different ways of figuring that out. And you can figure a lot of that out by going to GoPower's website and taking a look at their solar calculator. Now the sun cycle batteries come in two sizes, 100 amp hour and 300 amp hour, and you can put several of these together to increase the amount of capacity of your system depending on the size of your RV. Okay, this has an app that goes with it, the GoPower app, so you can be monitoring this battery while you're using it to see how much time you've got left and how well it's charging. Now we take a look at the PowerTrak system that we've got here, and this all works very well together. So we're using RVC communication between these, okay? And so what that's allowing everything to do here is to communicate. And if this is installed in an RV that has a multiplexing system that is RVC compatible, theoretically it could be programmed into that by the factory. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is our solar system. So what we have here is the PowerTrak PT400 system. And so this comes with two 200-watt solar panels and a 30 amp MPPT solar converter, solar controller.
The solar charge controller is an essential part of your solar system. The energy generated by your solar panels must be controlled in a way that prevents overcharging your batteries while also charging them in the most efficient manner possible. Additionally, it should provide the optimal charge rate for the specific type of batteries you have installed. Pulse width modulated, or PWM, solar charge controllers are the most economical and provide better trickle charging of your batteries than just an on-off type switch. These are ideal for people with smaller or entry-level solar systems because of their inexpensive price point. On more advanced solar systems, which is what we install in most RVs, you have the maximum power point tracking solar charge controller. Now, these are more expensive than a PWM, but they're up to 30% more efficient, and they have more control and expandability than a PWM type controller. There are three types of solar panels commonly used for RVs: monocrystalline, polycrystalline, and thin film. Monocrystalline solar panels, which are made from a single silicon crystal, are the most efficient types of solar panels and are commonly used for RV solar installation. Besides being the most power and space efficient, they are also the longest lasting. They can be identified by their dark black color. Since monocrystalline panels are made from a single crystal that is cut into wafers, the manufacturing process generates a significant amount of silicon waste. As a result, monocrystalline panels are the most expensive. Monocrystalline panels have a power efficiency over 20%. Polycrystalline solar panels, noted by their bluish color, are made from numerous silicon fragments that are melted together. Since there is hardly any waste, these panels tend to be less expensive. However, they are also less efficient in both energy production and in hotter environments. Polycrystalline solar panels have an average power efficiency of between 15 and 17%. Lastly, thin film type solar panels use different materials and are often self-adhesive, allowing them to be mounted on various surfaces due to their flexibility. Flexible panels trade the flexibility of self-adhesion and frameless design for efficiency, typically being 2 to 3% less efficient than crystalline frame panels.
Okay, going from the solar system to your inverter, this is an IC3000 inverter charger system from GoPower. This is a 3 kilowatt model, okay, 3,000 watts. It also has a high power charger, 125 amp smart charging system in it, which works very well with the lithium battery pack. So when you're hooked up to shore power, this is going to be able to help charge your lithium battery pack as well as possible. Now, to control the system, you have their new PowerTrak touchscreen display. And this display allows you to control the entire system and see what's going on right from this touchpad. And then on top of that, we're going to have our RVC adapter. And this is going to allow us to adapt out the RVC networking throughout the system. And it can also be used to help connect it to your recreation vehicle. As I mentioned, if you have a multiplexing system, as I mentioned before, this comes with everything that you need to install it. So all the cables and everything are pretty much plug and play. If the design of your system requires a little bit longer battery runs or things like that, then you're going to need possibly to expand on the system a little bit. But this comes with quite a bit of stuff. Let's go ahead and get it installed on our 2005 Lance truck camper here and give her a test.
One of the primary concerns that we ran into with this installation was where to put it in the camper, and the closet ended up being it. We also needed to change out the battery box because we weren't going to have room for the 300 amp hour battery that we were installing, so all of it was going to go in the closet. We spent some time rebuilding the closet structurally so that it would hold all the equipment plus the battery, and we built that up. Also making sure that we had enough room and we could run cable around the furnace that was located just beneath the closet where all this equipment was going to go. We also made common points of connection in the coach so that we could run all the cables to the right connections. And then we started to build it up layer by layer, starting with the 300 amp hour battery, and having the closet open to the back allowed us to run cable pretty easily. We did put the inverter in next, which we did change the orientation of that a couple of times looking at that, installed solar, and then also installed our RVC system. Now, one of the things you have to be careful about is ventilation. So we did cut in ventilation in here, and it also vents up into the space behind the equipment. And then we finished the cabinet off nicely with everything installed and made sure that everything was tight in.
So one of the things that you really want to be able to make sure of when you're doing an install like this is you need to check every connection and make sure that they're correct before you put any energy to anything. So we've made some of our connections already, but what I want to make absolutely sure of is my AC connections are right, my DC connections are right. I've gone through and tested them, and the best way to do that is with a multimeter, and I'm going to do that right here by testing each of these terminals on a shore power cord with the shore power line coming in, and then I'm also going to check it on the output side to make sure that those are wired correctly and everything's in good shape before we go and put any power on. We're in our Lance camper, and we have finished the complete installation of the new GoPower PowerTrak system. And so we're going to take a look at it here and see what we did with it. And so what I want to be real clear about is we're not going to get into the installation of each individual component here too much. What I want to do is kind of give you an idea of some of the high points of the installation. So you can think about it as you would if you were installing it yourself. Whatever RV you're installing any system like this in, it's going to be pretty custom to that particular system. And so I want you to understand that and work with it. So what we decided to do in this unit, as we mentioned before, was take the closet out, and we're going to put our components in here, still leaving us some storage up here in the upper compartment. Okay, so we did end up stripping out the inside of the full compartment here. We left the back open into the wall cavity because that wall cavity is a chase that goes all the way up and down on the inside of the of the inside of the camper. And so we added a vent here. We have a vent down here up underneath the furnace. This is all open inside here around the drawer. And so this is going to give us plenty of air circulation, which is what we want. So again, with our components, what have we got here? So we have our 300 amp hour lithium battery. All right. We have our fuse down all installed back in here. And what we've done is we've have power points in the back for DC. So everything comes up, and the 4-aught cable that comes with the system comes up and attaches to the inverter on the opposite side, as does the AC wiring. Okay. And then we have jumper cables that we made that go from here to those power points. And so all the coach loads are on 2 studs that are mounted back in that cavity for them to go to. What we've got over here is our MPPT solar charge controller. All right, so we have our cables coming down from the roof from our 200-watt solar panels that are mounted up on the roof. And then we have the output cables, which are fused, coming back, and they're going to our power points, which are then feeding to the battery. Okay. What we have down here is our RVC controller. Okay, so this guy here is kind of the brains of the communication system. And so with this, we have our connection of all of our data cables that are going between all the different components. And then behind this panel here up on the top, which is coming out to here, we have our control panel. And so if we take a closer look at the keypad here, we'll see this is our battery condition currently. It's a cold, rainy, cloudy day here, so we don't have real good sunlight charging things up, and we've been doing some testing. But you can get in here and change all your settings, turn your inverters and chargers on and off, that type of thing, and you know, kind of work with everything. The inverter does have a load sense feature, so you can set that to whatever you want to automatically sense loads. If you're using, you know, depends on the RV how this is going to work. So in this particular case, with the load sense enabled, the system's off. Now, if I open the you'll see the microwave is off here. We don't have anything on there. If I open the microwave door, you'll see the power come on. But the second I close the microwave door, the light goes out, the power goes out. So it does sense pretty sensitively. And so that's something that you might have to work around. So you can turn on another AC load, or just come in here and you press and hold this for a second. It's going to ask you, okay, do I want to enable or disable the low sense? If I want to disable it, I could just hit off and it disables it. And now I have power on here, and then I can run my microwave or whatever else I want to do. So it just depends on the amount of load that you're going to have on the system. So some final thoughts on the system. It is a complete system. It comes with just about everything that you need to do the install. A couple of things that we would recommend with this. First of all, make sure the foundation of your system is adequate. So the wiring and everything that comes with the system, it's pretty much all set. You are going to have to cut the 4-aught battery cable so that you can strip the ends and attach them to the fuse pack. So that's going to require a large bolt cutter and be able to strip that down. But other than that, you're not going to have to do any crimps unless you're adding other battery cables, in which case you're going to have to manufacture those or cut them down appropriately. And make sure you're running the cable the right way, securing it, tucking it away, whatnot, to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to and runs the way that they recommend. Your battery cables have a lot of energy going through them. So just to minimize EMI, make sure that you're running it the way that they recommend it. Take a look at little things when you're running wiring, right? You don't want the wiring to go somewhere where it's going to get cut, it's going to get chafed, you're going to have any issues like that. We have a furnace down here, okay? So a lot of the wiring runs behind this. So we have to make sure that that wiring is all secured away from the furnace. It's okay to be in the space with it. It just can't be touching it. It can't be too close to it. We have it all nicely moved around there. Okay, so that's important to, to take a look at. Plan out where you're going to install everything. So that's why it's in this closet. And we penciled out everything well ahead of time, right? So you have to look at weight and balance. This is a truck camper. This pretty high up here, okay? So we're up in the upper section of this truck camper to put this stuff in. This particular camper is a 2005 Lance. It doesn't have basement compartments or anything like that. It does have a generator in it, but we don't have any place else to mount this stuff. So this is where it had to go. We eliminated the battery compartment in the back and the side, actually changed the door, made that a storage compartment. So there was a lot of carpentry involved in that. We come back in here and we had to reinforce this cabinet. This whole cabinet's been rebuilt in order to strengthen it so it would be able to hold the heavier components. So there's been, a fair amount of work here to make this happen. But it was nice because behind it we had a wire chase. So once we took the paneling off here, back inside there, we had all the places where we could access all the wiring in the unit. Plus we have ventilation. So this is fan force ventilation for your inverter. We have ventilation here on the door. We have ventilation up underneath the cabinet here. It comes up and then you can use that wire chase also for circulation. So that's a big help. Okay, that makes a big difference for us. Just make sure everything, when you put everything together, that everything is secured down the way that it should be. Okay, just for, a safety factor, and also you don't want things breaking loose and then slamming into other things and doing damage, right? So real important to do that. Just follow these directions. When you go through it, get the newer directions from the GoPower website because they do update them on a regular basis. So make sure when you get your system, you get the latest instructions from there, and their support's fantastic. So if you have any issues with the system, you can absolutely contact them. They'll help you out every step of the way. The one thing that we didn't do that's not included in the kit that I think probably should be, and something that we may modify, is actually putting in battery switches, battery shutoff switches. One for the battery and one for the solar panels coming down. The solar panels are fused up on the roof. I've got an inline solar fuse up there for them. So I can do a quick disconnect up there on this. The battery itself does have an on-off switch. So it's a smart battery and I can actually turn the battery completely off right on the pack. What we did run into is that when you have to update the pack or you have to do a reset for one reason or another, is that part of that requirement is that you disconnect the positive terminal, and I went through this with the manufacturer, and you do some stuff with the switch, doing a hard reset, and then when the battery's back up, you check that you have voltage, and then you're taking the hot line and putting it right back down on the terminal, and of course you get an arc when you do that. I don't like doing that. I don't think it's a great thing to do, so you do it really quickly. But that's what they recommend. To do, that's what you have to do that reset. If you have a battery switch, you can turn it off, turn the battery switch off, and then turn it back on, and you have an arc-free way of, getting that load right onto the system. Having those battery switches probably not a bad idea. If you do that, you're going to have to be able to put ends on the 4-aught cables, which is going to require a crimp tool of some kind to do the battery cables. Overall, great system. Comes with most everything that you're going to need. A lot of power. We got 3,000 watts of inverter power here. We're only a 30 amp system here, and we have, you know, everything that we're going to need to work with here. And we're looking forward to getting out on the beach and having some fun with it. For more information on the system, check it out and get all the information so you can start playing it out. You can go to GoPowerSolar.com.